My name's Ryan Senser. I was a long snapper with the Ohio Bobcats. I also played in the NFL for a short time with the Saints and the Seahawks for a couple short stints with them. Currently, I'm in the UFL with the Florida Tuskers as a long snapper. And today I'm going to help you guys out, trying to coach up your long snappers. We're going to start with alignment and stance and then move into the grip and the snap and the post snaps. So the first thing I'd like to talk about today is the approach to the ball. One of the worst things that a long snapper can do is when he's practicing is get in a routine of just snapping, and just staying in the same spot. And that's never going to happen in a game. In a game situation, you're going to run in from the sideline, you're going to come in for one play, and then that's it. You're out. So every time that your long snapper is practicing, I'd rather him do less reps, but do them the right way, than to just do multiple reps and just stand over the ball and it just kind of drains you as a snapper to do that anyways, and it's not going to be game-like at all. So every time I either want your snapper to come in from the side and kind of run in, get himself set up, and get down in this stance right here. Okay, either he's coming from the back, from the huddle, or he's coming in from the sideline. So every time that he's snapping, that's what should happen. He should come in from the side like that. All right, so the first part about getting yourself ready to snap is to get aligned with the ball and get yourself square to the punter, which is 15 yards away. So as you're coming in from the sideline, I want you to get set up here, and I want you to put the ball 1 yard in front of where you're at. Okay, this is where you should be practicing at for the most part when you're starting out as a young snapper. Get yourself lined up, put the ball about a yard in front of where the actual line is on the field, and get your feet completely squared on the line right here. The worst thing that you can do is get yourself staggered like this, 1 or 2 inches here. When you multiply it back times 15 yards, that's going to be several feet to either side. So if they're not lined up straight, then they're going to have to compensate in their snap, which is going to cause inconsistencies in the snap, and that's not what you want. As you get set up over the ball, like I said, you're going to get yourself nice and square here. You're going to get down, have your snapper get real comfortable in this position right here. He's going to reach down for the ball, and he's going to get the ball stretched out in front of him here. You want to think of your body almost as a rubber band. Okay, you want your body to sling that ball back there. So you shouldn't be comfortable with the ball in close here like this. These arms need to be extended almost all the way out, maybe a slight bend in the elbows, but almost extended all the way out, and your back should be flat. There shouldn't be a hump in your back like this. It should be flat here like this, so you can almost lay something across my on my back here. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is the grip that the snapper should use when he's holding the ball. Okay, he's going to take the ball just like he's going to throw it overhand. It's the same exact grip that you're going to want to have. Now, the snapper may also want to move this thumb up maybe just a little bit to compensate for the guide hand being on the ball. But for the most part, your hands go on the ball just like you would if you're going to throw the ball regularly. So that's how that's going to work. The guide hand is going to be somewhere in the middle of the ball here. You don't want it to be up too high and too low. Now, some people, it's going to vary for some people. Everyone's got a little bit of a different snapping technique and style. But my recommendation is to have the middle finger almost in the middle of the seam, maybe just a little bit off-centered one side. Nothing too crazy, but just on the ball here like this. One of the biggest mistakes that a lot of snappers make, especially in the high school level, is that they have a hitch with their snap. And when I say there's a hitch, this is what I mean. They get themselves lined up, they're good to go. They get themselves stretched out, they're in the proper position. But as they're looking through, they're going to snap, and the ball is going to come up and then through here. That's not what you want to happen at all. You want your arms to be stretched out all the way, so when that ball starts to move, the only movement is straight back towards the punter. You don't want that. A lot of guys think they need to do that to get the power on the ball here when they're snapping like that, but you want to be stretched out all the way, so that first movement's going to be back and through, and the legs are going to come straight back. They're going to shoot out, extend like this as the ball is moving backwards. You're going to follow through with your hands. Your hands are going to shoot back through, and the thumbs are going to come just like you're passing that basketball like this to somebody. The hands are going to come through like that, but it's just underneath your legs, and you're going to point right to your target. The target for your punters, for most of you guys, is going to be on the hip. If he's a right-footed punter, you want it to be on the right side. If he's a left-footed punter, you want it to be on the left hip. All right, I'm going to demonstrate what a snap with no hitch is going to look like versus a snap with a hitch. First one is going to be one with a hitch. This is what it should not look like. Okay, that's a hitch when the ball comes up and out like that. All right, the snap with no hitch is going to look like this. So one of the biggest problems is that hitch that I talked about. One of the things that I like to do, because I used to have a hitch when I was in high school, and one of the things I got to do to stop that was to get somebody to line up in front of me. And Sean, if you don't mind coming here, get in front of me and put your hand out in front of the ball here like this for me. All right? So that way, and you can actually even almost come up here like that with it too. So that way, when I'm about to snap the ball here, if I do this, he's going to knock the ball out of my hand if it moves into him. So this way, when you're snapping, it's just, all right, straight back. That way the ball doesn't get knocked out. And if you repetitively do that, you'll eventually get your snapper to get rid of his hitch. All right, so a lot of times your snapper is either going to have a consistency to have a snap that's high that's going to drift on them, which is going to go over the punter's head, or they're going to have a snap that's low. And if they're consistently low with it, it's going to be dribbling, hitting the ground, hitting the punter right in the feet. What to look for when this happens is usually there's one or two things that cause that. Number one reason for that is the placement of the butt here. So when you get set up on the ball, like I said before, you want this back to be straight like this. Okay, you don't want to be hunched over. You don't want your legs to be extended all the way up with your butt up in the air. Typically, when your butt is higher up in the air, the snap is going to drift and go higher. The lower it is to the ground, the more it's going to shoot out low. Okay, you're going to get those snaps that just dribble back to the punter. So if you're getting low snaps with your snapper, then have him just raise his butt just a little bit higher up in the air. If he's sailing him over the head, then maybe just have him tone it down a little bit, get it a little bit lower to the ground. All right, coaches. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like from the punter's point of view. Basically, this is where you should be standing while you're watching your long snapper snap, as you're watching your punter's kick. Stand right behind the punter, kind of get a feel from what it's like from that angle. Because obviously in a game it's tough to see a snapper from the side, whatever he's doing. So from the punter's point of view, I'm going to show you what it is that a snapper's doing when he snaps it low, and what a snapper's going to do when he snaps it high. So you can kind of see what it is, and I'm going to show you with my hands what I mean with a butt being too low or a butt being too high. All right. So when a snapper is going to snap one low, his butt's going to be real low to the ground like this. And as you see, as I'm coming through, with my butt being this low, it's hard for me to get my hands up any higher, so the ball's going to release very low. When my butt's too high, I'm going to come through, and my hands are going to release up here. Okay, this is going to cause the ball to sail over the punter's head, which is obviously not what we want. So now watch what happens when I lower my butt. Okay. So now the ball's right in the middle. It can shoot straight back to the punter versus snapping it over the head or snapping it on the ground. All right, so now I'm going to talk a little bit more about a snap drifting left to right. A lot of snappers have an issue either judging the wind, if it's real windy out, or basically just coming back to their alignment. A lot of times when a ball is snapped to the left or to the right, it all has to do with their alignment. I want you to picture drawing a line from your snapper, from the ball straight out his back, straight to the punter. Okay, you should be able to draw a straight line from my nose out my butt straight back to the punter. Okay, if I'm off to the side here like this, and you draw it, it's going to be 3-4 feet to that side. Well, guess what? When you snap the ball, it's going to end up 3-4 feet out to the side of the punter. Okay, so as your snapper's getting down there, if he's consistently snapping the ball to the right, well then maybe just have him adjust a little bit. So his left foot's going to come up a little bit further and even out. Okay, so now when you look at me here, okay, right now if you drew a straight line from the ball out my butt to the punter, if that's right. Okay, so your snappers might be lining up a little cockeyed here. You want that ball straight out in front of you. You don't want the snapper to have the ball out to the side in either direction. Okay, you want it to be straight out in front of you here as you start. All right, so the next coaching point I'm going to bring to your attention here is a snapper that has too wide of a base versus too narrow of a base. Some snappers will get down there and their stance is going to be this wide. Well, that might be okay, but they're not going to be able to get as much power generated through their snap if they're this wide. Okay, they might be accurate like this because they're not getting much leg movement, and it's all arms, versus a snapper that's real narrow in here as well. Some snappers are real narrow in here, and it's hard to generate any power from there. So you need to get your snapper into the position where he's most comfortable. Like if someone was coming right at him right here, boom, here you are. So you want to get your snapper into that position where he can just sit down in this right here for 10 minutes at a time if he needs to. It's just this should be your snapper's comfort zone right in here. All right, the next thing I'd like to talk about is the snap count and what your snapper should be doing prior to the up back making his call back here, the personal protector making his call back here. Your snapper should be able to sit down, like I said, in this position right here and be comfortable right here. All right, now the personal protector is going to give his call. All right, but the snapper gets to choose when he snaps. It's not when the up back, says hike, whatever it is that he does. That's not when he goes. He goes on whenever the snapper feels comfortable, whenever he's ready. So for me, what I like to do is I'll kind of be down here. I'll be looking around. I'll be looking back at my punter, looking at the right hip as I'm looking through. Okay, I'll be looking around at the players over on this side. I'm never going to do exactly the same thing every time, because then the opposing team is going to be able to pick that up. So if I just come up here every time, put my head down and snap right away, then they're going to know on the next one, okay, we're just going to jump the snap like this time. So I always like to mix it up. So, I'm looking back, looking to the left, just hanging out here for a little bit. As long as there's plenty of time on the clock up there, you're fine with this. All right, so looking through, finding my punter, looking around. Ready? Yep. Cool. Boom. And then snap and get back. All right. So that's basically how I approach it. I think for you guys, if you don't want to get punts blocked, it's nice to kind of vary what you're doing there. All right. So now I'm going to show you what a snap should look like from the side here. Like I said before, you want to think of your body or your snapper as a rubber band. All right. You're going to be stretched all the way out. There's going to be a knee bend in here. You're going to be stretched all the way out. And then whenever you're about to snap, you should just be thinking an explosion. Okay, it's one movement. It's not the arms move first and then the legs go. Everything should move exactly at the same time. So when you're setting up here, you're all the way stretched out here. You got a little bit of a cock in your wrist here. You're stretched out, and then everything moves at once. The legs and the arms come back at the same time. So it should look like this. So the next part of the snap is the follow through with the hands. All right, it's like I said before, when you're passing a basketball, your hands come out, you're pointing at your target, thumbs down. It's the same exact thing for a snapper. So I'm going to show you what it's going to look like, what it should look like from behind with your snapper, with the one movement, the rubber band effect, and how the hands should look as they're coming through. All right, now that the snap's completed, that's just one part of the progress here. Now, the next thing that we need to do is talk about the post-snap, what you're going to do after you snap. Okay, there's going to be rushers coming in. Depending on what kind of punt scheme that you guys might run, it might vary for you. But I always teach that, even if a snapper is snapping and going to run straight downfield, that movement of his body should still be moving backwards, so he's almost like he's coming back into a pass protection, even if he doesn't have to block, because it's going to teach him to get that whole body moving that way. The snaps are going to be faster. They're going to be more accurate. When a snapper just snaps and releases straight downfield, what's going to happen is as he's snapping, his butt's going to come forward because he's going to go take off to release. One of the only bad snaps that I had in high school was on that same type of situation where I just snapped and I just took off running. Well, guess what? My butt came up and boom, over the punter's head. So that's the last thing that you want to happen there. So get your snapper lined up, snap it, have him practice getting back into a pass protection, okay, and then taking off downfield. If your snapper is going to be doing some type of protection, left, right, both A gaps, whatever it is that you have them do, okay, then this is what I teach for the best way for that snapper to get back in that position, okay. After he snaps, let's say that the protection is the left A gap here, okay. He's going to snap, and then his first step is going to be a jab step with his opposite foot, okay? And it's just going to be a half jab step right here, okay? And then back into it. All right, the last thing that you need to happen is for the snapper to snap and take a big step here, okay, because his shoulders are going to open up and it's going to create vertical seams, which is going to lead to the punt getting blocked, because that's the shortest point, is for the rush to come right up the middle and come in and block the punt, okay? So you snap, and there's a jab step, and boom, okay? So the chest is still straight out. You don't want to get turned at all. You get turned, the punts are going to get blocked, okay? And then it's just, that's what it is from there. So just like you teach a tackle to do, it's the same thing for a snapper. You want to get that jab step back, and then just, he's stepping back and gaining distance, okay? As the guy's coming into him, okay, after the snap, he's doing this. He's getting his arms ready in here, okay? He doesn't want to be down here, because that guy's going to be in that A gap as fast as he can think possible, because he's snapping, he's pulling his head up, and now he's got to be ready to take this guy on that's coming in full speed. So snap, jab step, back, get the arms up in here, get him ready to punch out. He might take 2 steps, and then boom, he's into the guy, engages, okay? And then what I do, I'm always a tear down and rip when I get done, so I'll have him in there, and then I just rip out, and I'm downfield, okay? Just the snap to the punt, it's gonna be about 2-3 seconds for a snap. So you just got to be able to slow that guy down, engage him, tear underneath, and then he's downfield into coverage. All right, so it's important to have a decent sized kid that is your long snapper. You don't want the skinniest guy on the team in there. You don't want a wide receiver maybe, or a big offensive lineman. You need almost like a linebacker or a tight end type mentality kid in there that's able to not only snap and block, but the next part is releasing downfield. So you want a guy that's going to be able to get down there, because I know for me, most of the time, the other teams, they're doing their stuff, and they're expecting the gunners to get down there. Some of the wings are going to get down there real fast. But for me, a lot of times they just leave the snapper unblocked. They just think the snapper's not a good athlete, whatever the situation may be. And a lot of times that is the case. But if you can get a guy in there that is a good athlete that can scoot downfield and maybe make a tackle, then that's, that can be key as far as your punt coverage and not letting those returners get any big gains on you. All right, so now I'm going to go into the short snap. Okay, most of the stuff for a short snap is going to be almost identical to a long snap as far as the fundamentals and the techniques involved. However, there is a few different things that you're going to do. When you're approaching the ball, I still want you to come up, do the same thing, run up to the ball, get yourself square with the lines on the field. You still want to get head through the butt to the holder. Same thing there. Now, technically, I like to get a little bit wider, because I don't have to set back and block and then release downfield on a PAT or a field goal. I'm in here, and I'm going to get big after the snap. So I get a wide base, because the wider the base that the snapper has is the further out that the guys rushing from the wings have to come around the edge to block the punt. If I'm real narrow in here like this, that's an extra foot on each side that, that guy's that much closer to getting cut in the corner and getting in and blocking the punt from the field goal from the side. So get a little bit wider in here, okay? Same thing, just get yourself down in here. I'm going to go over my grip with the ball, because for me, I prefer to snap without the laces on PATs and field goals, because what I've done is I've gotten myself to the point where I can snap it back to my holder and get the laces straight out for them. And so what I do is I rotate the ball just 1/4 turn. It's still the same exact hand grip on it with both things. You're still here. I just take the ball and I rotate it at one spot over like this. So when you're trying to teach your guy, if you have a good snapper that's consistent in what he's doing, but the laces are just coming, and when the holder catches the ball, the laces are straight back, okay, then maybe just tell your snapper, okay, maybe move your hands on the ball from the laces being here to the laces being straight behind. So now he's holding the ball like this. It's really not that much different. It's not that much harder to snap the ball without the laces. You got 2 hands on the ball. You're not going to lose your grip on a 7-yard snap. I've never had an issue with it. That's just my personal opinion. I think that's what's best for snappers when they're trying to get to that point where they're trying to snap and get laces perfect for their kickers. Obviously, the less that the snapper and the holder have to finagle with the ball, the easier it is for the kicker to do what he's got to do. Now, when I'm snapping, this is where I'm going to aim every single time. I'm going to be looking back at my holder, and I'm going to aim for a spot right in here. Okay, that way if it misses a little bit on the back shoulder, you can still catch it and be okay. And if it's out in front a little bit, you know, he can just catch it and put it straight down. All right, if you're going to have your snapper miss to either side, it's always a little bit better to have a miss to the outside over here than back behind, because physically when the kicker's looking at the holder, if he has to see the guy go back like this to catch the ball, he loses sight of the ball, which can mess with his peripherals, versus if the ball's out here, the kicker can see it the whole time. He's more comfortable with putting it down and doing what he's got to do. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple examples, give you a couple snaps here, show you what I do after the snap. I tend to get up, get a little bit bigger. This way I can protect one way or the other. If there's an overload on one side versus the other side, if there's no overload, I might come up and get big on one side versus the other. The main thing is to stand your ground in there. The last thing you want to do is get knocked straight on your butt. Guys are coming over the top and blocking the punt from the closest angle possible. All right, so basically that's what you want to do. You want to snap, and as you can see, after I snapped, I still had that power to me, whereas if someone was to come right into me, I could fight them off, get my punch in, and give them enough time to get the kickoff. Okay, I just want to make one quick coaching point about snapping in the middle of the field versus snapping on the hashes. The holder, and we're going to go over the holder in a few minutes here for you guys, but the holder and the kicker are going to adjust to the hash. But for the snapper, it's going to be exactly the same. He's not going to angle any different. He's not going to do anything different. It's going to be the same as if he's snapping in the middle of the field. He doesn't have to do anything different. Like I said, the kicker and the holder are going to do all the adjustments there. So same thing, align the same aiming point for you. The holder might just be tilted a little bit just to align with the goalpost. However, nothing different for us. We're still aiming at the same spots.
My name's Michael Bronstein. Was the kicker at the University of Washington as well as Ohio University. You just got done seeing the snapping video with Ryan Sensor. Part of snapping is we want to teach the holding piece. Holding is very, very important to your kickers. It ties very well in here with the snappers on where they're aiming and going. So we're going to go over how to hold the proper way, technique, so your quarterbacks, your holders don't break their hands, and your kickers have a solid base so they make their field goals. First thing for your holders, okay? It is not their job to place these kicking blocks. It's your kicker's job, okay? Your holder's going to go where your kicker tells them to go. So Sean, jump in here real quick for me for a second. So for me being a kicker right now, I'm going to line myself up with the ball where my snapper has it, okay, perfectly straight. Then my holder, okay, he's going to know where my block is. I'm going to tell him where that block is, okay? Awesome, thank you. For holding, okay, the proper way to hold for a right-footed kicker is going to be your right leg down, okay, your left knee up, okay. This base here is at a 90-degree angle. The reason why we're at a 90-degree angle is for when we get a snap that comes out here, so throw me a ball out here, we can grab and bring it back to the tee, okay. If we have a snap and our knee is inside here, okay, throw me another ball out here, I can't get to it without falling off balance and not get myself back. So huge for your holders is get yourself up here on a wide base. Okay, if I get a ball that comes rolling on the ground, okay, I can turn, and I'm like a shortstop. I'm here, I can let it bounce up, boom, I put it on the tee, and my kicker can still hit the ball. Okay, so for the first thing when we get set, okay, our holder's gonna put his right knee down, his left knee up in a 90-degree angle so he's ready to go. Okay, this left foot is going to adjust with his left hand. His left hand's going to go right in the middle of your block, or if you're on the ground, just right where your kicker told you to be. We're going to use the block for now. So where that is, our elbow is going to line up right here with the crease of our knee. Okay, so for me, I need to scoot in just a little bit. Okay, so I'm here, and that's exactly the middle of the tee. So when I catch this ball, I'm going to slam my arm back, my elbow, into my knee crease, and put it down directly on the middle of the tee. I don't even need to look at it, because I know when I slam back and I set down, I'm right in the middle. My head never moved to look at that, and I can hit the middle of the tee every time because my knee stops my arm from going back. If you have a snap or a holder that goes like this and wants to be out of the way, okay, boom, oh, okay, your kicker's now not even on his tee. Okay, so really, really important for that hand, elbow, and your knee crease to be together, and yourself here at a 90-degree angle. Okay. Our snapper is taught to snap right here at the palm of our holder's hand. Okay, so your holder's left hand is going to be on the tee. His right hand is going to be out here. Okay, so your snapper has a spot to do it. It's not going to be right here. It's going to be right in front of this tee. So when this ball comes over at your hand, it's a quick transition right to the tee. It's not out here and then back to the tee. Okay, so our hand's out here, so our snapper has a spot to hit. Okay, when we catch the ball, our left hand comes up, we bring it down, we hold with our left hand, we spin with our right. Okay, a lot of guys are right-handed. Your holders will want to hold with their right hand. They cannot do that. Here's the reason why. When they set the ball down here and they put their right hand in front of it, their fingers are in the way. Okay, they're going to break a finger as a quarterback, and then the ball's going to flutter out really, really quick because they hit your holder's hand. Your holder's got to be open, catch, hold down with the left, and spin with the right. Okay, so a full look is going to look like this. Catch it, set it, and spin with the right. Okay, this hand's getting out of the way. Your left hand, the hold, okay, is going to look like this. So we've got our fingers on top. Okay, they can do a preference. They can do 1, 2, 3, okay, however they want to do, as long as they don't have anything in the way of the front. And then the back, the kicker's coming under the back out of your way. Okay, the kicker will tell the holder what lean they want. If they want the ball leaned a little bit back towards their left knee, a little bit to the side, however they want it. Okay, it's not, okay, I'm going to do this. Your holders can never put the ball going this way. Okay, your right-footed kicker will never make a kick if he does that. Okay, let me show you a problem. A lot of guys will come down, they'll sit up with their right leg here. Okay, now when they try to catch a snap, their leg's in the way. That's when you get a bounce off. Okay, now fire. You might get a scoop and scored on. Okay, so you've got to get down in the right position. Okay, so left knee, right knee down, left knee up, elbow to knee crease, 90-degree angle. Our shot's right out here over the hand. Okay, we're gonna now, we got our hand up. We're ready to go. Okay, we're gonna call. We're gonna make our calls. We're gonna look back to our kicker. We're gonna get the nod that he's ready. Then we're gonna shoot our hand at our snapper so he knows we're ready. Then he's gonna snap it, catch, hold with the left. There's no spin necessary there, and get your hand out of the way. And make sure your holders never bring this hand off the ball. The kicker will just get rid of it. Okay, so we're going to go through now a full snap hold kick. I'm going to bring Sean in here to hold, and I'm going to go through and I'll bring Kelly in to kick. We're going to go through a full snap hold kick and what it looks like. Okay, our kicker, the ball's set right here. We're using this ball. Okay, he's going to line himself up right there even with the ball. He's going to show his holder where he wants to go. His holder is going to come down with his right knee down, left knee up. He's going to adjust to make sure his elbow and his knee crease are hitting each other correctly. We're going to give our kicker some time to get over. So our snappers right now, they don't need to be on their ball yet. They can be up, relaxed for a second, so they're not hurtled over their ball. Okay, so the holder's going to check with the kicker to make sure he's ready. He's going to give his snapper a target, and they're going to roll. Okay? Snap hold kick. It's that quick. High school level, you want to be under about a 1.4. College, you want to be under a 1.3. And pros, they're about 1.2. Okay? Ryan's professional, Sean's professional, and getting those balls down. Okay? Your kids may not look that fast, but as long as that snapper is on target, that holder's doing what he does, they can fly down. We'll show you one more full snap hold kick here. So Kelly tells the snapper or the holder where he wants to go. It's ready to go. Holder knows he's ready, makes his call, shoots it out. And it's gone. Okay? That's our holding. Coaches, holding is extremely, extremely important to the kickers. They've got to have confidence in their holder and their abilities so they don't have to worry about it. Kickers can only control their kick. When the holder and they're confident in their holder and their snapper, they're going to be money. They're going to put the ball through the uprights for you. We appreciate you taking time to check out the snapping video along with holding, also part of it, our long snapping, our short snapping, and then our holding. Ryan's great with what he does, and hopefully you take a lot away from that and take our advice here on our holders so your special teams are great this coming season. Thank you.